going to be a very important part of our classrooms and how we as teachers can prepare our students for what they're going to learn in class. And so I want to show you one way that you could use AI through ChatGPT to go ahead and come up with writing prompts. I think very often teachers, we really don't use enough writing in our classrooms outside of English class because it does take a lot of thought and time to come up with writing prompts and a rubric. And so I think one of the ways that we can use AI is to help us formulate those prompts and rubrics and save us a lot of time and be able to bring that writing and engagement that goes with writing into our classrooms. And so I have ChatGPT up here, and what I'm going to do is I am doing a lesson for 11th graders. So I'm just going to copy and paste what I want ChatGPT to do. So I want it to create a prompt that asks 11th grade history students to compare the colonies of Jamestown and Plymouth to include the reasons for their settlement, important people involved in their development, economy, political, and social structure. All right, and we'll go ahead and click the arrow here and let ChatGPT go ahead and start formulating a prompt with some directions that I can then use. What I'm going to want to emphasize is you want to treat any information you get from an AI source as a rough draft. So I would never just put in information into ChatGPT and then just copy and paste it into either my LMS or some other system for my students to access. You definitely want to go and read it because it's pulling from information out there on the internet, and we don't know exactly what information it's pulling because there's so much information out there. So we want to make sure that we are using good information. So let's see what it came up with. All right, so welcome to your 11th grade history assignment. In this task, you will be comparing two significant colonial settlements in early America, Jamestown and Plymouth. Your analysis will focus on the reasons for their establishment, key figures involved in their development, their economies, and their political and social structures. Use historical evidence and critical thinking to craft a comprehensive comparison between these two pivotal colonial ventures. All right, so that's a pretty good prompt there. Then it's got another one here, compare and contrast the colonies of Jamestown and Plymouth, highlighting the reasons for their settlement, their important people involved in their development, their economies, and their political and social structure. And then we'll have some figures here, instructions, settlement reasons, key figures, economies, political, so forth, requirements. So you don't have to use all this information. I think this paragraph right here, this top one, would probably be the prompt that I would post for my students to go ahead and read. It's pretty short. It's very specific, I think, and I think it's well written. So I would probably copy and paste that. And I can also go ahead and say to create a rubric based on this prompt. Let's see what it comes up with here. Scroll down, and ChatGPT is, of course, going to go out there. And as you can see, it's going to go ahead and start putting together a rubric. So we've got criteria going from excellent to needs improvement. All right, it's got information in there. And I've done this a couple of times, and I always find a need to kind of modify what ChatGPT gives me for a rubric. So you might want to read through that as well and make adjustments as needed for exactly what you're looking for from your students' responses and what's appropriate for your classroom and your students. And so this, I think, is one really good tool and one way, once again, to really save us some time and be able to kind of get out of our comfort zone of staying away from writing in the classroom. Provides us with a tool to create writing prompts and to create these rubrics and then just make adjustments and modifications to them as we need to in order for them to be appropriate for our classrooms. So go ahead and give it a try, and as always, share what you've learned